Hello and greetings from wonderful Kalamazoo, Michigan. Actually, I'm not in Kalamazoo. I'm in a giant cornfield known as Vicksburg. And in this giant cornfield, there's a little place called Indian Lake where we reside as a family, presently kind of homeless in a way, looking for where our next residence will be. And we're over here now, continuing the revolution that is our life, practicing this mindset of making the way you live your life a worship service, sort of, to Yeshua. Yeshua is the Jewish name of who most of us know as Jesus, but we like to call him Yeshua. It worked for his mother, so it works for us. But we're here in Vicksburg looking for a new home, continuing the revolution that started, at least in my life, in 1996, when I came to understand that life can sometimes be miserable. I'm shooting today in what feels like about 3 degrees. It's pouring down rain, and it's pretty miserable. Life can sometimes be a wee bit miserable. The revolution, that's what we call our life, that's what we call our ministry, that's what we call what we do, is an effort to try to make life a little bit less miserable for people who maybe haven't had a fair shake, or maybe even because of their own mistakes or faults or addictions or dramas in their life, have found themselves in a bad place. And so we go out, and there's a lot of different things that we do, but one of the main things we do with people like you, churches, youth groups, and businesses who come alongside of us, one of the main things we do is we set up tailgate parties in heavily homeless population, and we do what we have to do to try to lighten the load a little bit, give some food away, hang out and play cornhole with homeless people, pray with prostitutes and drug dealers and addicts and those who have found themselves in relatively miserable places in life. And see, even my camera doesn't want to cooperate. It's just fogging up. Sometimes life gets foggy. It gets messy. I remember one time we were feeding people in a place in Detroit that I like to call the Corner, and there was an individual there. He was hurting. You could tell, sunburned from being out all day. He was a white guy, kind of in the hippie movement. I imagine he had filled a bong or two in his lifetime, and he was hungry, and he came up alongside of the grill where we were cooking hamburgers. And let me just tell you, if you want to copy what we do, I hope you do, but if you do, hold on, okay, I had to get that off the lens. If you do want to copy what we do, don't do it with hamburgers. Hamburgers are big and round, and you can only cook so many of them at a time. But there we were feeding 150 people our 150 hamburgers, and cooking them 10 at a time, and the line was 100 people deep. And this guy came up alongside the side of the grill where I was cooking, and he asked me, he said, can I just have a raw burger? I'm gonna take it home and I'm gonna finish cooking it there, but I gotta go. I left my kid at home alone. And he pointed to the apartments he supposedly lived in, and I knew from the neighborhood he very likely did not live in those apartments. But something inside of me said, you know, I have to just at least look like I trust this guy, or I'm gonna look prejudiced, or I'm gonna look like I don't trust him. I'm gonna look like I think he's a liar. So I gave him a raw hamburger. I put the bun on the side and the chips and all of the sides, and I sent him off on his way. I noticed he went around the side of the bus that we had taken this particular youth group to Detroit in, and so I stepped away from the grill for just a second, and I noticed that this guy, and I'll never forget it, was around the corner eating that hamburger raw. He couldn't wait in the line to eat. He hadn't eaten probably in a couple of days, and he was miserable. Sometimes we choose a life that allows us to get to do the things that we love. And it's beautiful when that works out. I mow lawns for a living now. I love doing that. I build websites. I love doing that. That's a big piece of what I get to do with my life. But my ultimate thrill, my purpose in this life, and I believe this is true for a lot of people, is to do with our life what battles against what we hate. We get to do what we love to battle against what we hate. I think that's why God allowed us to even have hate. It's why He allowed us to even be frustrated or be impatient. He did all of that. He left us with those emotions and those feelings so that we do something about it for other people. Ever since that day when that guy ate that raw hamburger, gone were the feelings and emotions that told me what this world wants you to believe, that he could find something to eat, or if he would just get up and go to work, he wouldn't be so hungry. I don't care why he was that hungry, but he was eating a raw hamburger that day. And for that reason alone, despite whatever brought him to that place, I want to be a piece of making his life less miserable. And then when he asks why, I can tell him about Yeshua, who made sacrifices way bigger than any sacrifice I'll ever make. And so we're the revolution. We're here on planet Earth to combine our gifts and talents and time and energy with yours and go and make life less miserable for people, hoping that they ask, why did you do that? Why did you care about me? Nobody cares about me. Why did you do that? And then we get to tell them about the beautiful love and grace and mercy and forgiveness found in Yeshua, the Messiah. I hope you'll join forces with us. I hope you'll get your youth group signed up to come do a feeding with us. I hope you'll do what it takes to make life a little bit less miserable for people around you. Do it however you love to do it, and do it against whatever you hate. Love you. May the revolution continue. If you want to make life a little less miserable for some people in Kalamazoo, downtown Kalamazoo, heavily populated, homeless area, if you want to make life a little less miserable for them and allow us the opportunity to tell them a bit about the love and the mercy and the grace of Yeshua, the Messiah, if you would like to do that, this GoFundMe link is here for you to help us buy the groceries. None of us earn a living through the revolution anymore. We all have our own little side jobs. And so 100% of whatever you give is going to go towards groceries and equipment and expenses and feeding these homeless people. And it's never going to be raw anymore. I learned my lesson. Have a good one. May the revolution continue.